Lion Raskin, Bill Barr, came out and confirmed that what he told us during that press conference was not the truth. Remember, we're in this battle over this FD 1023 form, and Christopher Wray brought it over for a little bit of a show and tell, and he gave it to Congress. He said, you guys can look at it real fast. You can't touch it. Don't touch it. And then he took it away from him. And we heard two different versions of reality. James Comer came out and said that the basis for why the FBI would not leave the document was because it's part of an ongoing investigation. We need it. And then Jamie Raskin came out and he said the exact opposite. He said, no, actually, the investigation was closed. And so we're wondering, what the heck is true? This is what Raskin said.
To suspicion of criminal activity. So they apparently decided there was not, and they called an end to the investigation. Now recall that this is under Attorney General William Barr and his hand-picked prosecutor, Mr. Brady, who was a Trump appointee. They were the ones who decided that there was no grounds further based on what this confidential human source reported from a conversation with another person. They decided that there was no grounds to escalate this up the investigative prosecutorial chain. If there's a complaint, the complaint is with Attorney General William Barr, the Trump Justice Department, and the team that the Trump administration appointed to look into it. But, I'm just surprised that my colleagues want to try to litigate this in public, much less hold the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in contempt for complying with their request when there was a whole process that was undertaken, and that process, it's natural end as I understand it.
It's natural end. Okay, here's
human
the next
source
question.
Investigated so-called preliminary investigation, and after that comes a full-blown investigation.
Right here.
Yes.
From what you're saying, is Chairman Comer not telling the truth in that there's an ongoing FBI investigation into this allegation that then Vice President Biden took a bribe from a foreign official?
Wait, say,
He said it was an ongoing investigation.
That they're still investigating.
Okay, but I'm not privy to what the chairman had to say.
You were just in the same room as him, dum-dum.
There have certainly been published reports that there is an ongoing investigation in Delaware by the U.S. attorney, I believe related to Hunter Biden. That's all that I know.
Any indication that this document that you guys were briefed on today is part of an ongoing investigation?
What I know is that the FBI Department of Justice team under William Barr and Scott Brady in the Western District of Pennsylvania terminated the investigation. They said there were no grounds for further investigative steps, so they ended that.
He said Bill Barr ended that. He made that statement a number of times. Is that true? We know that Comer says that's all ridiculous. He says, in fact, Jamie Raskin, after this little pitch to us about exactly what happened here, is a big, fat, dishonest person. Here's what he said.
I know Jamie Raskin's walked straight out there and lied to the American people. The FBI said 4 times in that briefing that he and I sat in that this was part of an ongoing investigation. That was their primary reason for not wanting to release this document.
So you're saying he heard those words?
He heard it 4 times. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times.
He seemed to have not heard it.
Well, that's what he said he didn't recall. You always have to watch the words from these guys like Jamie Raskin.
Be careful with guys like Jamie Raskin, bunch of dishonest people. So we got Bill Barr now. He's like, what? I signed off on what? What are you talking about, Jamie? This came over as an exclusive from the Federalist. Bill Barr went and had a conversation with them. Here's what the report tells us. Bill Barr. It's not true. It wasn't closed down. William Barr told the Federalist on Tuesday. That was in response to Jamie Raskin's claim that former Attorney General and his, quote, hand-picked prosecutor had ended an investigation into a confidential human source allegation that Biden had agreed to a $5 million bribe. Barr said, on the contrary, it was sent to Delaware for further investigation. So Raskin, he's making things up just out of thin air, it sounds like. What briefing was he in? Former Attorney General Barr went on the record with the Federalist following statements that Raskin made to the press in the afternoon. Soon after attending a closed-door meeting with House Oversight Committee, James Comer and the FBI, where lawmakers reviewed the 1023 forms summarizing the detailed allegations that Joe Biden agreed to accept money. Raskin said the following, Rudy Giuliani, and so on. He said under Bill Barr, the hand-picked prosecutor, they were the ones who decided this. Raskin doubled down on the claim afterwards, issuing a press release saying the same thing. Barr, hand-picked U.S. attorney. But that's just not true, according to the Attorney General. Instead, he says the confidential human source claims the detailed 1023 were sent to the Delaware office, according to Barr. That's just one of Raskin's problems. The House Oversight Committee contains information that has nothing to do with Giuliani. Raskin's office didn't respond to a request for comment. So it's absolutely nuts that he can just come out and pretend like he can say things to the media and they'll just gobble it up. The dude lied on multiple different fronts. And is the media going to call him out on that at all? What if he just didn't get questioned on it? I guess he's not really being questioned on it. He can just play cover. It's a giant narrative. The Democrats are playing cover too. It's disgusting behavior. Hopefully we get to see this form and Jamie Raskin can eat those words.